We have a major update on the Demarcus Robinson situation. We're going to talk about what that update is and what Sean McVay had to say about the situation with regarding Demarcus Robinson. We're also going to talk about a division rival, the San Francisco 49ers. The radio station has a little bit to say about their team captain, Deebo Samuel, and a little bit of negative things to say. So we're going to talk about that and how we feel about that situation going on in San Francisco, as well as Sean McVay. Are Rams fans kind of out on him? Are we ready to move on? Or what's going on? We're going to talk about a Reddit post and what fans are saying about their head coach and why they are frustrated with how this season is going. All on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Hinon. If you guys have never seen us before, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me today. We appreciate a lot of views lately on the last episode that we had. All of you guys, if you guys are coming back, we appreciate you. But if you're coming back, might as well hit that subscribe button. 95% of you guys are not subscribed. So we would love to have all you guys join on every single day that we post Rams content so you don't miss out on any Rams Digest videos. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Remember, it is free. Costs you nothing to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us so we can go ahead and continue to bring you daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. Let's get into our first story here, talking about Demarcus Robinson set to play versus the Saints. Yes, obviously for those who don't remember or maybe missed our last episode talking about the Demarcus Robinson situation, it sounds like although he did just have a DUI, I think Monday morning, it sounds like he is actually going to play this coming Sunday versus the Saints. So of course, good news for the Los Angeles Rams on the field wise. Off the field wise, again, a reminder, got to reiterate, we do not want to see this out of our players. Sean McVay doesn't want to see this out of his players. Of course, we're going to acknowledge this is not a great situation to see a good player go out there and do something kind of foolish, unnecessary, if you will. But again, Sean McVay seems to have, let Demarcus Robinson know how he feels in terms of, hey, this is not what we want out of our football players for the Los Angeles Rams. This is not what we want our players representing for the Los Angeles Rams as an organization. And so, of course, that's something that, needs to be said and stated. The good thing is, it sounds like Demarcus Robinson is taking a little bit of responsibility. And what I mean by that is, we're going to put and pull up this quote right here from Sean McVay. Sean McVay says, "I did appreciate his ability to acknowledge it to the team while also not minimizing or undermining the severity of what could have been. I do trust that he's going to learn from it, and I think it'll be a good learning opportunity for our whole football team. That's how we'll move forward." So there you go. There you have it. Quote from Sean McVay, of course. And I think, it's a good thing to say from a head coach. One thing about Sean McVay, he's always going to have his players ready to play. He's always going to say the right thing in the press. He really does a good job of kind of responding to things pretty well, I think. As a head coach, you always have to kind of have that great PR kind of mentality, right? And I think Sean McVay does a good job of it. And he's also saying, hey, look, Demarcus Robinson acknowledges that he made a mistake, and he didn't do it in a way of minimizing the situation. Again, I keep reiterating it over and over again. I sound like a broken record. This is a very serious situation. Someone could have got hurt. Someone could have got even worse than hurt, right? And so obviously very lucky that's not what happened. Demarcus Robinson seems to have acknowledged that, and we can go ahead and move on from it from here. Of course, again, not something you really want to see, but we are glad that everyone's okay. No one was hurt. Demarcus Robinson has his own legal situation that he's going to have to deal with on the outside of things, but on the field wise, he's set to play versus the Saints. We're going to see him play likely, hopefully the rest of the season into the playoffs is what we're hoping, and we could be all good from there. So, hopefully it's all good. No more issues here. Like Sean McVay said, hopefully it's a learning lesson for the whole football team. Nobody make these mistakes. We may be at a point where we're going to make the playoffs very soon. Don't be making these mistakes off the field where you may not be able to play on the field in very important games. We are already not at the strongest our roster has been the last few years. Let's go ahead and have every single bit of talent on the field that we can, and try to compete for this playoff run. Hopefully, at least get into the playoffs first, and then hopefully make a long playoff battle. So moving on from that story here, we're going to talk about the 49ers team captain under fire. Yes. I don't think there's anything better, of course, aside from seeing the Rams win, than seeing a division rival, a hated division rival, have a little bit of, just seemed like having stressful times, right? We're so used to last few years, the 49ers being one of those really, really good teams in the NFL, a top NFL Super Bowl contending team. Of course, the Rams getting their Super Bowl back in 2021. Luckily enough, we didn't have to deal with the 49ers winning the last few years, even though they have been competitive. They have not been winning the last few years. They've been struggling as of late, even when their players were healthy. They've been struggling, and a guy named Deebo Samuel has been struggling himself, it seems, as the Rams' bitter rival superstar under fire from a radio host. And we're going to talk about exactly what the quote was said, what exactly went on, what was said about. I'm sorry if I keep pulling up all these different screenshots for you guys. We're going to talk about exactly what was said right now, but just interesting. I think I know that some people may say it's a little random for the Rams Digest. We're breaking down some San Francisco 49ers news, but like I said, it's always a little bit of fun to see a hated division rival under a little bit of craziness going on. So let's pull up what was actually said. So here's the quote from KNBR's Dieter Kurtenbach. He said, "Last time I checked, Deebo Samuel wears a C on his jersey, and he cannot talk to the media after a loss. I do not want to see the C on the jersey again. I think you strip it from him because he has not been a leader on this team. He has not been a leader in the way he plays. He has not been a leader in the way he's acted." Again, KNBR's Dieter Kurtenbach with some pretty harsh words about the 49ers team captain, star receiver, running back, Deebo Samuel. And I don't think he's wrong, right? I know I haven't really sat and watched every single second of 49ers football, but from what I've seen, especially in the fantasy football realm of things, Deebo has just not been himself this season, right? And I think that's a very interesting thing there. The fact that this radio host is going in. He's has a lot to say about Deebo Samuel, maybe getting the C taken off his jersey. He's not acting like a captain. It's seems to be fairly valid in terms of, hey, the 49ers are down. They're not really playing super well. He himself, Deebo Samuel, is not playing super well. They need someone to step up as a team leader. If you get the C on your jersey, you got to step up as a team leader. Not my problem, not our problem here at the Rams Digest to figure out the 49ers issues and try to give them advice. But it is fun to see, I think, a little bit of just craziness going on with the division rival, like I said. So that's going to do it for that story. We can move on from that. And the last bit of news we have here, fans, you guys, everybody here listening, watching, are you guys tired of Sean McVay? Is that what's going on? Is that what we're hearing? Is that what I'm seeing? What am I talking about here? Let's pull this up right here. We have the here's this story this is off of Reddit, Los Angeles Rams Reddit. It says, discussion. Let's talk about it. 0-8 on third downs on offense. The third down offense has been putrid all season. This is a top paid offense and they cannot produce. And please don't say, well, Heavenstein is hurt. If your entire scheme dies and implodes due to losing one lineman, your scheme is the problem. Injuries, sadly, are a part of the NFL, and you have to adapt when the injuries come. True. McVay was once the boy genius. Now his vaunted offense is vanilla and ineffective. Where does this team go from here into next season? I don't think this can be fixed in one season. With so many pressing needs, holes on the roster, DT, inside linebacker, cornerback, tight end, true speed receiver, running back, Kyren is fumbling machine, kicker, question mark. So that's one of the story. That's one of the screenshots we have here. That's a start of the discussion, and the reason why obviously this one Reddit post to begin the discussion wasn't necessarily all that was said. As we can pull up the next screenshot here, and the next one is this response that I kind of thought was intriguing. So here we go. The first response is, the offense is the most disappointing aspect of this team by far. Defense I can live with, but with an offensive head coach and money spent on offense, it should be the strength of this team and cover for the defense when necessary. We should be able to win shootouts. If the opponents score 37, we score 42. That's a lot to ask, I think, out of an NFL offense, in my personal opinion. But as they keep going, if McVay were the offensive coordinator, not head coach, there'd be talk about firing him. Another response here, talking about the cap space. The cap this year is $255 million. We have $34 million in dead money, mostly Aaron Donald. Of the $219 million left, we have 80% of it spent on the offense to the tune of $176 million. Yeah, the defense has its flaws. Yeah, giving up 300 yards to Saquon Barkley isn't great, but where the F was our offense? If we could hold the ball with our $175 million offense, maybe Saquon would have less time to gash our defense. Interesting stuff here, okay? Interesting stuff. People seem to be upset at the offense. No one's saying fire Sean McVay. But people are starting to question, hey, he was the boy wonder genius. He was this brilliant offensive mind who was supposed to take us to the promised land, did take us to the promised land. Now we're at a situation where post him contemplating retirement, the offense isn't doing what they're supposed to do. We're spending most of our money on offense, and yet that they're not producing to the level they need to be producing. The defense is playing better than they should or are expected to, and yet it's still not returning into wins. A lot going on here, I think, from you Rams fans. I do tend to agree a little bit. Look, the offense there's a lot of money on the offense, and of course you want that to translate into creative, dominant offenses. But the problem I think we have to acknowledge is, and then that it's not really acknowledged here, Matthew Stafford is a few years into his deal. Cooper Kupp is a few years into his deal. I think that's the way the contracts are structured. Usually the money starts getting kind of built up toward the end. So that's why I think a lot of your money is spent on offense. You had Puka Nacua on a rookie contract, not just a regular rookie contract, a 5th-round rookie contract. The offensive line got a couple guys who are getting a little bit paid a little bit. Kyren Williams hasn't even got paid yet. So the money isn't really translating in terms of like, all the money is spent on offense. I know 80% of it is technically, and the dead money with Aaron Donald a lot isn't really helping. But ultimately, I think one thing we have to realize as Rams fans is, guys, we're reaching the end of the road here. We are reaching the end of the road. We are walking towards the plank, and once we jump off that plank into the ocean, we are going to be a rebuilding team trying to get back onto the ship. Damn, that was a crazy good metaphor. I think I just came up with the top of my head. But in all reality, that's kind of where we're at right now as a team, as an organization. The Rams they spent a lot of money. They went all in trying to win a championship. They did that. They won the Super Bowl. Now, from there, you want to try to get what you can out of that window. Now that Aaron Donald's retired, we moved on from a few players. The expectation should have been that this is kind of it, right? We are not really going to compete that well. We just don't have the personnel on defense to continue to be this great team. Of course, the defense has been playing again extraordinarily well. They've been surprising us all, with the young players and Braden Frisk and Jared Verse have been absolutely incredible. The defensive backs have been incredible. The defense has been really great, but we just see it versus Saquon Barkley, right? Yes, Saquon Barkley is a different beast, a different animal, but you just see them give up over 200 yards. So the defense isn't ready or in a position personnel-wise to compete for a Super Bowl, compete for a playoff spot, yet they are overperforming. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of the fact that the division isn't really playing too well right now. Compete for a playoff spot with your offense and hope your defense can hold. Some weeks the offense isn't going to be able to do it because guess what? Matthew Stafford's at the end of his career, essentially. He's got maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years left. Would be great for him, of course. I'm sure he would love that, but let's be real, 2, 3 years, great, really, really good years left. Cooper Kupp is getting to the end of his career as well. We talked about Kyren Williams last episode and talking about some issues we have there. There's a lot of issues on offense that are not just Sean McVay issues. Sean McVay definitely needs to get back to his creative offenses, maybe a little more speed on offense, whatever it is. They got to change things up. But right now, at this moment in time, this is what the team is. They're going to keep playing hard. They're going to continue to compete. They're probably going to go in and beat New Orleans, hopefully. They're probably going to go in and beat the Jets, hopefully. If they do what they're supposed to do. And we have to live and die with this team. We have to live and die with the fact that, hey, this team was probably ready to start rebuilding already. They decided to keep going once they saw there was a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And so they're going to continue to compete. But the reality is we're getting ready to rebuild next season. Hope for the best this year. Get ready for some pretty bad football moving on the next couple years in terms of rebuilding, trying to retool. They're always going to play hard. Sean McVay teams are always going to want to compete and play hard. We're going to have some wins, some playoff runs, but it's going to take a couple more years before we get to that Super Bowl contention, I believe. And that's just kind of my opinion. You guys let me know how you feel about it. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you guys can get more daily Rams content. That's going to do it for me on today's episode, guys. I'm out.